Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salawat ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This week's khutbah is on appreciating the husband. But before the brothers get all excited, the second part of the khutbah is appreciating your wife also. So you might want to edit it before you share it wide and far. Up to you. At the time of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this is reported by our mother, Aisha radiallahu anha, al-Mu'mineen. She says there were about 11 of us sitting, and there was one woman praising her husband. My husband does this, my husband cherishes me, my husband looks after me, he supports me, he respects me, he looks after me, he loves me, and he does this and that. And this was Zara, not to be confused with Abu Dhar. It's Abu Dhara with an ayn. So she said all of this about her husband. And then Aisha radiallahu anha, she came home to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she was talking about this conversation. So Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha, he says to her, Ya Aisha, I am more to you than Abu Dhara to his wife Dhara. And to confirm this, Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, Ba'abi wa ummi ya Rasulullah, by my mother and my father ya Rasulullah, you are in fact more to me than Abu Dhara to Dhara. Imagine this conversation with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so, of course, when we talk about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course his wives will respect him and honor him because he is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged all women, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتُ حَافِظَاتُ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهُ. So righteous women are devoutedly obedient and guard in their husband's absence what Allah would have them guard. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects this from women, to also to be on guard and to be obedient and devoted to their husbands. And a righteous woman, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned so many ahadith, but a righteous woman appreciates her husband and appreciates the sacrifices he makes to bring home, to support the family, to be the breadwinner, to be the breadwinner for the family. And from this, that he is the decision maker. And even though, inshallah, of course, that the husband does mashura with the family, but when decisions are made, then decisions are respected. The Prophet ﷺ said, La yashkurullah, the one that doesn't, you do not thank Allah if you do not thank people. So it's very important that we appreciate, and especially women appreciate their husbands, even in front of other people, in front of her friends, in front of her family, that appreciate her husband, subhanallah. The Prophet ﷺ said, La yanzurullah ila. Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look kindly upon a woman who does not appreciate her husband. Subhanallah. And look at this, subhanallah. And when a woman gets angry, and of course they do get angry, but we've got to be very careful. The Prophet ﷺ said and warned, إِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرْ. If they argue and they get angry, then they break all limits. So we should be very careful that we do not break limits even when we get angry. This applies, of course, to men and women. But the Prophet ﷺ was speaking especially about women. And this is a beautiful hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. It's so incredible. I'll read it so I don't make any mistakes. The best of your women in paradise are those who are loving, childbearing, and devoted to their husbands. Those who, when they upset or hurt their husbands, or they hurt themselves, or they're angry or they're upset, they come and place their hands in their husband's hands and say, I will not rest until you are pleased with me. And this is Sunan al-Kubra al-Nisa'i. Imagine, look at this relationship. And this is so many hadith and so many narrations from the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, that you would advise their wives or their children when getting married, that you do not go to sleep when the husband is upset. And also same to with a wife as well, that we shouldn't sleep, and there is disagreement amongst the husband and the wife, because this of course will affect the children and the whole family, subhanallah. And remember, a household is meant to be sakan, it's meant to be peaceful, and we should make sure that there is peace. And we very often we don't appreciate what's in our hands because we're looking at things, looking at other people and comparing. And the Prophet ﷺ warned us against this. He said, do not look at somebody that is below you, because if you do this, do not look at somebody that is higher than you, because when you do that, you will not appreciate the things that are in your hand. But on the things of deen, we should always look to somebody that is doing better than us. So we compare ourselves to somebody that's better. Why? So we can do better. And in things of dunya, we should look at people that don't have like we have, so we'll be appreciative of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, subhanallah. And the second part of the khutbah, this is maybe where you want to edit, okay, so I'll give you a chance to edit now. The Prophet ﷺ advised also that when we respect our wives and look after our wives and cherish them with good faith, with a good attitude, then we see that it is easy for reciprocation, for the wife to also appreciate us. Look at the first hadith that we mentioned about the Prophet ﷺ. When Aisha said to our mother, Aisha al-Mu'mineen, Aisha radiallahu anha, she came back with information or what happened about that day. Look at the conversation that they were having. And the Prophet ﷺ used to say that. He said, and Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha used to say that the Prophet ﷺ wouldn't sleep until he would ask us about our day. What did you see? What did you hear? Where are you? Where did you go? What happened? So he would get information from Sayyidina Aisha and change and exchange views. And the Prophet ﷺ would dalla. He would spoil Aisha and spoil his own, talk to the wife, talk to his wife, and contribute and participate and listen to them. Listen to them. How often do we get home? Well, sometimes we're tired, and we don't even have time to listen. And this is a problem. So there has to be this two-way communication. And this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, listen to this one. This is ajib. The Prophet ﷺ was talking with Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha, and he said, I know when you're happy with me and when you're not happy with me. So she said, how do you know? How do you know that? The Prophet ﷺ said, when you're pleased with me, you say, no, by the Lord of Muhammad. But when you're angry with me, you say, no, by the Lord of Ibrahim. Look at these. Look at the subtlety in the words that Rasulullah ﷺ was so in tune with his wife, that he recognized the anger. But look what Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha replied to this conversation. She said, yes, indeed, by Allah, wallahi, O Messenger of Allah, ya Rasulullah, I only leave out your name, ya Rasulullah. I don't leave anything about you. I wouldn't give anything up about you, Ya Rasulullah, except your name. I say Lord of Ibrahim, not Lord of Muhammad. Look at her response, Ya Rasulullah. Even if I'm angry, I'm not angry with you. I love everything about you. I'm just giving up your name. Look at this subtlety. When we see the interaction, and this is the importance of our mother, of course, Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, all the mothers of the believers, the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but especially Aisha radiallahu anha, our mother Aisha radiallahu anha, because she was so young, she reported so much about the intricacies and the intimate conversations between her and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for us to take Rasulullah ﷺ as an example. It's very easy for us to wear a jubbah and leave our beard and wear a topi, and then we say this is sunnah. But the sunnah of the attitude of Rasulullah ﷺ, the love and respect of Rasulullah ﷺ to those around him, and especially his wives, was beyond reproach. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to take Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in all his sunnahs as an example for us, for our most dearly and our loved ones. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq, that we have nurturing and respectful relations and beautiful communication between us and our dear ones, and especially our wives, husbands and wives, and wives and husbands. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.